Good morning. Today we're going to Alpena, Michigan. I've never been there in person, but I have a story to tell you about why I painted a card with a picture of Alpena, Michigan. Now, if you're from Alpena, you're going to say, that's not Alpena, that's a lake. Yeah, it's a lake, but it's a lake that I painted from a reference photo of the lake in, the Alpena Wildlife Sanctuary. I am so sorry. I've never been there. If I'm mispronouncing any word, especially Alpena. I did look it up and it did say Alpena, but you know, my town is Ocala and a lot of people pronounce it Ocala or Ocala. There's a lot of different pronunciations, but so I might be getting Alpena wrong. I apologize, but I'm a big fan of one of your neighbors in Gaylord, Michigan, the Michigan Snowman. This is not too far from there, apparently, but I've never been there either. No, there's a whole story as to why I'm painting today's card. It's specific to a couple at our church. And I'll tell you the story, because I don't want to tell you again, because I just told you. Because if you know how I do these videos, I do this part last. Obviously, I mean, how would I have the painting done? So, if you're watching, thank you. If you're not watching, then you can't hear me say, if you're watching. And if you've subscribed, thank you. If you haven't subscribed and you want to, that's up to you. Everybody tells me, you gotta get subscribers. You gotta get subscribers. All right, well, I'm not worried about that. Let's have some fun and paint, okay? A lot of happy accidents. A lot of happy accidents in this picture. And I think you'll have a lot of happy accidents if you do a picture like this also. I love these kinds of landscapes because happy accidents happen and you just leave them there and everybody says, wow, that's great. And I don't really need to be told anything's great. However, it is fun when you give somebody a painting they like. Okay, enough of that. Let's get going. I'll show you how I did this right now. Okay, well, I promised you in the intro that I would tell the story behind today's painting. And here it is. So it's not a really great story, although, well, it is great in a way that it's not something that Hollywood's going to make a movie about. I was at church. Robin and I went to an event, I guess you call it, you know, and people just kind of gathered together and they would talk about what's interesting to them, you know, and so I was trying to think how to explain the event. I think there was a guy showing, oh, I know what it was. It was the guy who was showing how he trains companion dogs, you know, dogs that are trained to help people. I don't know. I don't really know exactly what it was, but it was a guy. It was a guy with a beautiful dog, and it was a dog training people or a dog trained by people. Boy, I'm all over the map on this one. I guess I didn't pay that much attention, but I did. Actually, I don't know whether to call it a service dog or a companion dog or a support dog. I don't know. It was a cute dog, though. How about that? Anyway, the event isn't the important part. The important part is when I say at church, I don't want you to picture like rows and rows of pews. This is a different building at the church, not the sanctuary, and they have tables. Okay, so just so you can get that in your mind, it's a tables place. tables and chairs, and they have food, you know, and drinks, little things, you know. I don't know. I'm not even getting to the point, but the point is I was sitting at this table with this guy named Phil, and his wife. I don't remember his wife's name. But they were from Michigan. And I said, oh, I love the Michigan snowman. So now, let me show you the Michigan snowman. There he is. There's a picture of the Michigan snowman. So have you ever heard of the Michigan snowman? Have you ever heard of the Michigan snowman? Well, it's in Gaylord, Michigan. And I love looking at the Michigan snowman because they have a live webcam. Well, that picture that I just showed you is from the live webcam. I was going to try and put the live webcam on, but I don't know if I know how to do that. But anyway, I asked him, I said to them, oh, I love the Michigan snowman. Have you ever heard of the Michigan snowman? And they go, oh, yeah, that's only a couple of hours from where we lived. So I said, well, where did you live? And they lived in Alpena, Michigan. Let me show you the map. And then, so there's Alpena, Michigan. And so I went to Google Earth, Google Maps, whatever it's called. And I looked up Alpena, Michigan. And I flew there. Look at that, by way of the magic of the computer and the internet. So that's what I did. Because the people I'm talking about, Phil and his wife, I want to say her name was Sarah. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it was Sarah. Anyway, Phil and his wife, they were from Alpena, and they were, I don't know, they were just nice. I don't really have anything to say other than they were just nice. And, well, they asked Robert and I what we do. Oh my gosh, well, I hate talking about what we did, like the radio job. I don't really like, it came up, we mentioned it. In fact, somebody else spoke up on our behalf and said, oh, they used to do radio, blah, 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 blah. And it is true, we do radio. Well, oh, are you retired? And I said, well, yes, but we do art. Well, what do you mean you do art? Well, see, we had already done illustrated one of the books for one of the pastors at the church and his wife. I illustrated a children's book. I've shared that with you guys before. So a lot of people in the church know that I did that, but not everybody. And Phil and his wife didn't know about that. And anyway, I don't really have a whole lot more to tell you other than I just wanted to make them a card. Oh, that's what it was. It came up that I do cards and Robin does cards. We do them for the ministry that the pastor started. And he's got a name for that ministry. I'm not sure if I remember the name. The Card Company, maybe? And the Card Company is a ministry, for those who've never heard me talk about it. It's where they send out a list of names of people who are homebound or just needing a little pick-me-up. And so people send them cards, and most of the people will buy cards from a card store, Walgreens or whatever. And Robert and I started this whole thing of painting cards. Now there's quite a few people actually at the church that paint cards. And they're beautiful, just like I've seen some of yours on Facebook, and I know some of you also have a ministry in your church. All right, so now normally the cards go to people who are, like I say, homebound or feeling down. But in this case, I just wanted to send them a card because we were telling them about the cards. So I told you this wasn't a great story, but that's the whole story. So I'm painting this card for Phil, and I'm going to say Sarah. I think it's Sarah. I'm painting this card. And this is Alpena Wildlife Sanctuary. I've never been here. And I am using a photograph from Google Earth. It's taken by a guy named Darren Brandau. His name is on the picture. and he took it in June of 2021. So, and it's at the Alpena Wildlife Sanctuary. Oh, that's what it was. I was talking to Phil, and he was telling me about this sanctuary, and that's why I chose this. But I'm all over the map with today's narrative. I don't have a poem for today, by the way. I just wanted to tell you the story. Now I gotta let that dry. So I'll be right back after it dries. Okay. I dried it with my dryer, so it wasn't a natural dry. So yes, this is from Alpena Wildlife Sanctuary. Now there's not going to be any wildlife in here other than the lake. And just from a tutorial point of view, I did the same blue in the sky and the water. You see that little white area? That's where the tree line in the background will be. So it's kind of a relatively simple approach to this particular painting. But just going to mix a little bit of yellow and a little bit of green. And we'll just put a little area back there that's the trees in the background. So I go to the EarthCam the EarthCam, how do I want to say this? The Michigan Snowman is on something called EarthCam. It's live. It's all year long. You can go there right now. It's in Gaylord, Michigan, which I just looked it up. It's about 70 miles from Alpena, Michigan. And I've never been to either one of them. Robin has been to, what's that place called? Sackanack or something? There's a place up in northern Michigan, not too far from where this is. Mackinac, or Mackinac. It looks like Mackinac, the way it's spelled, but I think they pronounce it Mackinac. Gosh, you guys are going to know better than me. I know it already. But anyway, yeah, Robin grew up in Wisconsin, so she's sort of familiar with this area of the world. All right, there's our background. Is that pretty simple or what? All right, now I want to do the foreground trees, and I mostly want to start with the yellow. If I can get this yellow to look yellow instead of dirty. I have a tendency to make everything dirty. Try to make it clean. And so, in this case, the blue and the yellow are going to mix and make green. And that's kind of what I want, because the sky is blue and the yellow on top of it is going to make the green. And then these are the little limbs of the trees in the foreground. And I'll be honest with you, I am not trying to duplicate the photograph. I'm just using it as a reference. It's more fun that way. It's more loose. And so anyway, we were talking about the cards, about making the cards, and somebody asked us, because the event we were at was like a learning thing, where they teach you how they train dogs. The guy with the dog was showing us and telling us about how he has to keep the dog. Listen to this. Keeps it for a whole year, I think, if I remember right. A whole year. And then he has to let it go. The dog's got to go to wherever the home is that's going to be the permanent home for the dog. And I thought, oh man, I don't know that I could fall in love with a dog and then just give it away like that. But I know a lot of you do. It's probably even harder when you're a foster parent for children. But I know a lot of you do that too. Yeah, I don't know that I could do that. Okay. Just trying to make a little bit of surface area here for the ground in what do I call it? Alpena Wildlife Sanctuary. And we will continue to add this yellow. I want to add this yellow here. I know it looks green. But I like this idea of looking between a couple of trees, and it's all like you find an opening in the... You take a walk. This could be anywhere, to be honest with you. It just happens to be from a photograph from Alpena, Michigan, new to me. I'm like I never even heard of it before. There's so much I haven't heard of. That's what I always think about when people are so smart. Everybody's so smart. I feel like I got left out. Because whenever you bring up something, everybody knows a lot about it. So, it's kind of why I don't consider myself a teacher, because I always figure a teacher would know more about the subject than I would know. I don't know much about this. I just do this. So, if I'm going to try to be a little bit of a tutorialist, which is also a teacher, I'm just doing the lighter colors first, the yellows and the light greens. And actually, the green, can you see what's happening there? Where the blue is, it looks green, and where the white is, it looks yellow. And that's always the way it is with watercolor. You could paint gouache or acrylic over it. You probably do okay. But you can already see the composition starting, right? You can already see it happening here. Alright, now let's add some of the darker greens. And we'll put them in around here. Oops, that's way too dark. So I get a happy medium. Let's see if we get a happy accident happening here. I like that term that Bob Ross came up with. Happy accident. Just put the underside of all these tree branches and get the green in there that way. One of the things, I guess, on my bucket list is to travel more. I know that I've probably mentioned a few places I'd like to travel to, but sometimes, like, when you try to think where you want to travel to, you really can't think of every place. Have you ever had this experience where you plan a trip, and before you go on the trip, it's all in your mind what you're going to do? And then later on, when you're looking at the photographs of your trip, and you're telling somebody about your trip, you'll say, well, we didn't plan on this, but this was a great thing. That's what I mean. There's so many things that you don't plan on that work out nicely. Not just on trips, but in life. Right? There's a lot of stuff I didn't plan, and yet it worked out in my favor. There we go. This is kind of a very simple card. Hopefully it looks nice when it's done. Let's get all that there. Let's get some over here now. Get the green and the dark green. And put it all in there. Gotta leave some of that lake showing through it. That's kind of half the magic. Half the magic is letting it shine through. So they don't know I'm making this card for them, so I'm excited to give it to them. Today's Saturday, so I'll give it to them tomorrow. And they'll say, "Oh, is that supposed to be Alpena?" And I'll say, "Well, there's probably some more landmarky areas of Alpena. I don't know. I'm sure there are. In fact, I know there are because I was looking at it on Google. But I just thought this was a fun one. I did one once of a park in Wisconsin near where Robin lived. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. But I did a picture of that park, and it was similar to this, kind of a simple landscape. And gosh, everybody from her family loved it. They remembered the park. And same thing with the beach. Like, we go to the beach, and Robin's mom likes to bring have I told you Robin's mom is 91? Wow. She's an amazing lady. So anyway, she likes to bring to the beach well, she loves the beach. She's probably the main reason we go to the beach. But she likes to bring an umbrella to the beach, and her umbrella looks like a grass hut. It's got that grass hut look to it. So she was in the water one time, swimming. Yes, 91 years old, swimming in the ocean. And so I took a picture of her umbrella with the intent of using that as a reference photo, which I did. And she has that in a frame. I gave that to her. She has that in the frame. So you never know when you do something for somebody, a card. You never know how much they will appreciate it. And I don't know, because I'm not there all the time, but I bet you she has her lady friends over, and I bet you the card comes up every now and then, so I get mentioned. They talk about the card, talk about Poppa. Poppa makes cards. Poppa paints cards. I think I told you that last week on my son's birthday. I painted him a card. And the gifts for my son were all in one bag. And the card that I painted for him was in there. And my grandson, 5.5 years old, he looked in the bag and he said, "Dad, Poppa made you a card." So I was so happy that he recognized my art style, I guess. Right? That's what it sounds like to me. Alright, there we go. That's not too bad. That kind of looks nice. We can put some grass down here in this area. Let me get some more yellowish green down here. And just some more definition down here. Make it look pretty. Alpena. Wonder what life is like in Alpena. Well, you know that they have winter. You know that they have snow. You know. I always think one of the cool things about living in Florida is that so many people come here from so many different places. And Michigan seems to be a popular or a common place to come from, because I see the license plates on the cars. I see Michigan a lot. I see New Jersey a lot. I think those are the two that I see the most. But really, you see everybody. We even see European license plates here. I always wondered about that. Do they bring their car over? I guess they do, right? If you got the license plate on it. It must be. I don't know. I've never looked into that. They bring it on a boat, maybe? See what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make it a little bit darker some of the undersides here. Oh, and I haven't put any of the branch, the tree things in. I'll do that too. The vertical lines. I call them vertical lines. They're not really trees. They're lions. I can be annoying sometimes. I guess I can be annoying a lot of times. And here's what annoys people. They'll show me a picture of something. And they'll say, what do you think this is? And I'll say, it's a picture. Oh, gosh. And then, of course, they will say, no, I mean, what is it a picture of? I said, oh, okay. See what I mean? Yes, Poppa can be annoying. Poppa can be downright annoying. Downright. It's a funny word, huh? Downright annoying. What's the matter with you? You're downright annoying. Got this little area right here. I kind of like the way that looks. It's like a little lump of grass and got some shadows on it. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there, kids. Let's get some. Okay, so once you get all these colors in here, a little sense of maybe some dappled light happening here. Not really sure. Some tall grass that's sticking up in certain places here. Yeah, that looks good. A little more dapples of darkness. You have dappled light and you have dappled darkness. All right. Now I just need to put a few lines that will represent the trees. And then I always worry about this because I don't want to mess it up. But I just have a few lines here. Like there should be something here to hold all this together. There we go. Just a few branches here and there. Well, I'm looking forward to giving this to them. And if you're ever in Michigan, maybe we'll make if I'm ever in Michigan, maybe I'll make a plan to go see Alpena. What do you think? I don't know what goes on there, but that's okay. Like I say, you know, you go to a place. I had an aunt, my Aunt Hazel, when she retired for quite a few years before she got too old to do it. She was traveling around, going to different churches just to see them. And then I learned from her about cathedrals. Like we have a very big church here, and I wondered why isn't it not considered a cathedral, because it's kind of big. And then somebody educated me about the whole about what the word means, what a cathedral is. And I never knew. I never knew what the whole definition was of a cathedral. I just thought it was a big building. But it's not. In fact, I think that the cathedral for the area I live in, I think it's a small building. I think it's in Orlando. I'm not really sure. You see these little tiny lines that make you feel like you're looking at grass. And see how that kind of brings it to life? Isn't that weird how you put the little tiny lines in there? And all of a sudden the picture has a different feel. If you can get some real skinny lines in there, you get these branches that just don't have any leaves on them at all, but they're reaching out beyond the tree. And I do see this in the actual reference photo, but it's small, very small. I'm kind of taking liberties here. All right. Just a little bit of maybe some stones or something that's creating little shadows here. I don't want to overdo it too much, but little areas here that might be undefined. It's about the composition as well as it is about the subject, you know. So all right, I think our picture of Alpena, Michigan is done for Phil and his wife Sarah, if I got her name right. If I'm right about the name. I doubt that they'll see this video, so. And don't tell them I made the video. Don't tell them about the video. This is between you and me. Who knows, they might come up. Anything you try to stop somebody from, oh, I want to see the video. All right, well, there we are. I guess that's good enough. And it's really rather dry. So let me fold it, and oh, nice, looks nice. You like it? It's a pretty card. All right, well, there's our pretty card. It was pretty easy to do, and it could be anywhere. But I'm going to say it's Alpena, Michigan, the Alpena Wildlife Sanctuary in Alpena, Michigan. All right, thank you for watching and for commenting and for subscribing, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.